"Come in and say it again," the voice ripped through the house. "Is this an hour to come home, or an hour to betray me?" The words hit the marble hallway like a slap. Men in dark suits froze mid-step. A chandelier glowed above them, warm and expensive. But the air turned cold in an instant. Everyone in that mansion had seen rage before. No one had seen jealousy wear rage like a mask this clean. Sheila stood at the door with rain on her lashes and street dust on her shoes. Her chest rose and fell too fast, not from fear, but from running. Her coat was damp, her hands raw from scrubbing floors all day, and still she kept her shoulders straight like she refused to be crushed by the moment. The house smelled like polished wood and strong cologne. But Sheila carried another scent with her, a sharp mix of soap and medicine that did not belong in a rich man's world. The Mafia boss stepped out of the shadows slowly, as if time itself waited for his permission. His eyes locked on her and did not blink. He asked where she had been, and every syllable sounded like a warning. He did not need to shout. The way he stood made the room feel smaller, like walls were moving inward. No one spoke for her. No one looked at her with kindness. They only watched the way people watch a cup near the edge of a table, waiting to see if it falls. Sheila did not answer right away. She could feel the weight of the rules in that house. Ask permission. Report your steps. Do not make him wonder. Do not make him doubt. But Sheila had lived under rules before, and she had learned something that kept her alive long before she ever walked into this mansion. Rules without respect are just cages. The boss walked closer, the sound of his shoes steady, measured, dangerous. He glanced at her wet coat, her messy hair, her tired eyes, and something in his face tightened as if the sight of her had become a wound. This was not only anger, this was fear wearing pride. He said her name, but not the way a person says a name. The way a man calls something he believes belongs to him. Sheila's throat burned, but she held the silence. Outside, thunder rolled far away. Inside, a different storm was building. 3 years. That was how long she had worked in this house. 3 years of cleaning what others destroyed, cooking meals she never tasted until they were cold, and walking softly so no one accused her of making noise. 3 years of hearing herself called the Maid, as if she had no history and no future. She was on time every day, even when she was sick, even when her feet ached, even when her body begged her to rest. Being on time was the only shield she had, until tonight, because tonight on the road home, she had seen a man collapse near the bus stop. He was old, shaking, breath failing, hands reaching out in the air as if he was searching for something to hold. People slowed down. People stared. People turned away. A woman pulled her child closer and crossed the street. A man muttered that it was not safe to get involved. Sheila stopped. She knelt on the wet pavement with her knees soaking through, held the stranger's hand, and spoke softly until his eyes focused again. She used her own scarf to press against the cut on his head. She stayed with him until help arrived, even when her phone buzzed again and again. Even when she knew what late meant in this house. She did not do it for praise. She did it because she could not live with herself if she walked away. Now, she stood in front of a powerful man who had never learned that kind of courage. The boss's jaw tightened. He looked past her toward the door, as if expecting someone else to step in behind her, as if he could not accept that she had a life outside his walls. His voice dropped lower, sharper. He demanded to know who she was with. The men behind him exchanged quick glances. They understood the danger in jealousy. Jealousy was messy. Jealousy made strong men make stupid choices. Sheila breathed in slowly. She let the air fill her lungs. Then she spoke, calm, clear, and quiet enough that everyone had to lean into the truth. She said she helped someone. The words did not sound like an excuse. They sounded like a line drawn in the floor. The boss stared as if her calm offended him. He demanded to know why she did not call, why she did not ask permission, why she made him wait. That last part was the real wound, not the lateness. Waiting, the wondering. The fear that someone else might have seen her, valued her, treated her like she mattered. Sheila looked at him with eyes that had seen hunger, grief, and long nights without rest. She did not glare. She simply held the truth like a steady flame. She said helping someone should not require permission. Silence slammed into the hall. The boss's face shifted, a brief crack in the hard mask. He had heard threats. He had heard lies. He had heard people plead. He was not prepared for dignity. One of his men coughed and stopped himself. Another lowered his gaze. They were used to power. They were not used to a quiet woman refusing to shrink. The boss took a slow step back, as if the room had hit him instead of her. He looked at her hands then, noticed the redness at her knuckles, the slight tremble from exhaustion. It's the way her fingers still held the edge of her coat like she was holding herself together. He saw the truth he had ignored for years. She was not late because she was careless. She was late because she was brave in a world that rewarded cruelty. His jealousy began to look smaller. It's like a childish thing. Like a weakness, he had dressed up as authority. The boss turned away, staring at the polished floor, breathing through something he did not want to feel. He was a man who could order a city to move, yet he could not order his own fear to leave. And that was when he said the first line that changed the room. He said, "A man who needs to control a woman's steps is not strong." He scared. No one moved. No one even blinked. He turned back to Sheila, and his voice sounded different. Still firm, still powerful, but no longer sharp with jealousy. He asked what happened at the bus stop. Sheila told him, simple and direct. An old man fell. People walked past. She stayed. The boss's eyes darkened, not at her, but at the invisible crowd that had left someone to suffer. He had built his life on respect taken by fear, yet here was a woman earning respect by refusing to look away, he said. The second line, quiet but heavy, respect cannot be forced. It is earned in moments no one is watching. Then he did what none of his men believed they would ever see. He apologized, not loudly, not for show, not to look kind. A clean apology, spoken like a man who finally understood he had been wrong. He told the men to step back. He told them to stop looking at Sheila like a problem to solve. He told them that from that night on, no one in his house would speak to her as if she was less than human. The boss looked at Sheila and said the third line, the one that would follow her like armor. Your silence is not submission, it is strength. You refuse to waste on noise. Sheila's eyes burned, but she did not cry. She only nodded once. She had learned long ago that the most powerful answers do not need many words. He ordered a hot meal for her. He told her to rest, told her that her work hours would change, that she would no longer be pushed until she broke. He did not ask for thanks. He did not ask for loyalty. He asked for one thing. He asked her to keep being who she was even. When the world tried to punish her for it, days passed, and the mansion began to shift in small ways. People said her name. People moved aside instead of blocking her path. The boss stopped watching the door whenever she left. His jealousy did not vanish overnight. But it no longer ruled him, and then the bigger change came. A clinic opened near the bus stop where the old man had collapsed. Free care. Warm lights, clean beds, no cameras, no headlines, just help. The kind of help Sheila had given with a scarf and steady hands the neighborhood noticed. People whispered that someone powerful must have made it happen. Someone who finally learned that real respect does not come from fear, it comes from restraint. One evening, Sheila walked past that clinic and stopped. She watched an elderly woman step inside, shoulders loosening with relief. She watched a tired father carry his child through the door and not be turned away. She felt something rise in her chest that she had not felt in years. Hope back at the mansion. Sheila arrived on time not because she feared punishment, but because she respected herself. The boss was in the hall. He glanced at the clock then. At her, and he did not question her. He simply nodded, a silent gesture that said he understood now. In that silence, the moral victory was clear. She did not win by shouting. She won by standing firm, by keeping her dignity when everyone expected her to fold because. Sometimes the strongest person in the room is not the one with power, it is the one who refuses to trade their humanity for Safety. If you were Sheila, would you have stopped for that stranger and risked everything? Comment where you are watching from and tell us what you would have done. Subscribe for more stories about quiet courage, hard choices, and the kind of dignity that turns fear into respect.